Hey guys, let's go tour some farms and recreational properties that are around my property. There are some gorgeous properties that some of my friends live in, really close to me, so right out here in the country, and some of them are on 20, 40, and more acres. And I would love for you to see how beautiful these properties are and the different ways that people use large parcels of land. So join me as we kick off for the very first one today. We are going to Cannington Farms, which is the home of one of my very, very best friends, Amy Gray, right up the street. I've driven this drive many, many, many times, but she is right around the corner. So come on, let's go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Art of Gardening. I am here today with
Amy Gray from Cannington Farms.
And we're really excited to offer the very first farm tour for Art of Gardening. We are going to tour Amy's 20-acre property and show you her farm and her animals and her beautiful views. So let's get started, Amy. Tell us about your property. When did you guys build this house?
We built it in 2012. So we moved in January of 2012, and it took a little over 6 months to build, and yeah, we've been here ever since.
Awesome. So when you guys moved in, we know we have a lot of detail on the podcast, which you're going to want to check out if you are interested in hearing all the nitty-gritty details of how they built out their farm. But Amy, tell us a little bit, especially about the fencing, because I guess we didn't talk too much about the fencing, but you do have electric fencing around here because you have your gaggle of animals. So tell us about your fencing.
Yep. So Tom grew up on a sheep farm in New Zealand and recommended us getting electric fencing. So this is Gallagher. It's actually a New Zealand brand, but they have a headquarters here in Kansas City. So we put this in very soon after we moved in, and Tom and his dad set up all the posts and all the wiring and all the things. So it's throughout the farm.
Okay, so how many sheep again do you have on your property, approximately?
Oh, we probably have around 50.
All right, so 50 sheep. And what are the breeds of sheep that you?
So our original ones were Suffolks, and then we've also crossed them with a blue-faced Leicester.
Awesome. The other thing I love about Amy's farm when she moved in here was not only their big goal of sustainability, but being able to integrate the old with the new. And so if you look at their dog houses, the dog sheds are actually made of reclaimed wood and tin, so they match the original buildings that were on the property. So everything kind of meshes in and looks like it's been here for 100 years, but really it's brand new.
Right.
So
absolutely.
It's beautiful. One of the things I love about Amy's property too are the beautiful views. Every single place, every area of her property that you look, there are fantastic views, 365 degrees. Amy, tell us a little bit about the sunsets here and like what you enjoy the most with all the different country views and things like that.
Sure. So looking at our front door, we get the morning sun coming up in the east. And really the claim to fame, I guess you could call it, is the beautiful sunset at nighttime. We live up on a hill, and if you look out our backyard, the colors of the sky are just gorgeous. So we really enjoy sitting out here. A couple of different spots. We've got a little brick patio off our driveway, and then we also have the back patio as well. And they're just really pretty views. So we love having a glass of wine or a beer in the summertime out looking at the sunset. So
yeah, definitely. And one thing you're going to want to definitely take note of if you decide to build a home is have a sun study done, or at least just check the way the sun is moving across your property. That's one thing the Grays did beautifully. The sun moves essentially across the property like that. So it's really nice. She has it set up so that you are able to see different areas of the sunset in the evening time and take advantage of that morning light. So it's really, the way you've laid everything out, it's just absolutely beautiful. And so we're going to pan right now from where we're standing. So we're coming up the driveway here, and then we're going to pan over this way so you can kind of see what the Grays get to see every time they come home. And today is a cold day in late fall, and it's still so beautiful with so many different aspects of beauty all around us. So we have you guys have the dogs as well, which are the Grand Pyrenees.
Yep, Great Pyrenees.
Pyrenees.
Yep, this couple, I guess you could call them, are very old. They have been around since we got the sheep back in, I guess it was 2012, was our first few animals that we got. And these guys, Max and Molly, they are still kicking it and still running every night.
Sure are. Next up, we're going to show you her absolutely gorgeous house. So this is the site of one of the most beautiful homes in our area. This is Cannington Farms, the farmhouse. Tell us a little bit about why you designed your home this way and what drew you to this type of architecture.
Sure. So we live on a farm, obviously, so we wanted to have a farm-ish feel. This isn't technically farmhouse, but it is a French country home, and it was a style that both Tom and I really, really liked. We love stone and things that look old, so we settled on this, and we love the peaks of the house. It's really pretty in the wintertime too, when the snow has fallen on them. And yeah, so we love the stone, I guess, is our biggest thing. We'd love to stone the whole house, but that would have cost us a fortune. But it's stucco and then stone, and then obviously the patterned roof line, which is something that Tom picked out. He took great pride in the outside of the house, I guess you could say, when we were picking out everything. He really wanted to be involved in that part of it. So
you guys did a great job. There's so much detail to the front. It's all around your home, but just the way you mixed all the materials and did the different colors and everything just blends so very well.
Well, thank you.
So let's go check out. We've got so much to check out yet. Let's go check out. We're going to walk. So the driveway, they have a massive driveway. We have a huge turnaround here. It goes up to a 4-car or a 3-car garage with what is the other one called?
We just call it a tool shed.
Okay, so
we just put everything in.
But with a garage bay.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
So it is a proper garage bay built into the front of the house, which is genius. And then this carries all the way through the farm, this concrete drive. Pebble drive. So let's go down this way. And also, I love looking at Amy's landscaping right now. It's kind of out of season, but it's still beautiful, and in season, it's fabulous. In fact, Amy, I was going through photos to provide for this airing, and I have over 1,000 photos here at your property. So I've submitted a lot of photos so that we can cut in some beautiful inlays of spring and summer here because it's really, really magical.
It's definitely grown up over the years, for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I look back at when we first planted everything, and it was everything was just so tiny and little baby plants, and now it's full grown, and these massive junipers are definitely amazing, but they definitely keep us on our toes. We've battled a lot of things over the years on those things. Those bagworms got us a few years, and luckily we figured out what we needed to spray on them to keep those at bay. And we've added quite a few things over the years too. Limelight hydrangeas along the back. Of course, they look terrible right now, but they are really pretty in June through August, I guess you could say.
And a lot of hydrangea here on her property, which do provide a beautiful level of winter interest. I mean, just in the colors and in the form. It's just really pretty to walk around here all times of the year. So now we're going down towards the cows.
And the pigs and the chickens.
And the chickens.
Yes.
So we had quite a big discussion about chickens.
Yes.
So you're definitely going to want to tune into the podcast for that. Available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Amy goes into a lot of different details about her animals and how she cares for them and how they all became to be here in Missouri. So looking around, you've got a beautiful little creek that flows through here, which we always try and tell people, if you're in the market for land, why not get land with water or some type of water feature? So this is a dry creek bed, but when it rains here, it's really beautiful and has really nice sounds.
Yes.
We're going to cross over this creek bed here. And so on the 20 acres, you have approximately 50 sheep. How many cattle do you have?
8 now.
8 cattle.
Yep.
And then how many chickens do we have going on?
Oh, there are probably about 17 chickens, I think we've got at the moment.
Okay.
We bring in, obviously, the meat chickens twice a year, and we raise those up. They only are around the farm 9 weeks, which is crazy to think about, but that's all it takes to raise a chicken for meat. And then we have 2 pigs.
2 pigs.
Yep.
Which all of them are highlighted.
Yes, on the podcast. Yeah.
Yes, very exciting. They're so cute. Okay, so Amy, can you tell us about, we know one of the most important things in a garden when you're cropping is to switch your crops out, and that kind of applies to animals, right?
Sure. So we rotational graze our animals around here. It serves a bunch of different purposes. One, keeps the worms at bay for the animals, especially the sheep, who can get very wormy. It also helps the land regenerate. So each animal will put off different fertilizer, and it regenerates the growth of the land. So, and they also eat different things. So a sheep will come in and graze, and then they'll leave certain things that they don't like, but then you bring in the cattle and they'll clean it all up, which is kind of how like we want to do things around here, is making the most of the land that we have in a small property like 20 acres. So these two fellas are our steers. We will raise these two up for meat. They are male cattle that have been castrated, so they cannot produce babies anymore, and they will they'll be on our farm for quite some time. It takes quite a long time for a cow to be big enough to have for meat. And then on the other side, we've got our bull and our 3 females and our 2 baby calves. And they were born in March, and let's see, March, I think it was June when the second one was born. So kind of a surprise. There was a bit of a delay between the 2 of them, but they, if you can't, you might be able to pan to it, although the sun might get it, but there is actually a little trough over there, and that's where our natural spring comes in. And Tom has run piped underneath the ground and up into the spring so that the cows and all the animals actually will have fresh water year round.
And that's brilliant. Another thing to also note when you're looking for property to start a farm, having something like a fresh spring.
Absolutely.
Is ideal.
It definitely helps the water costs for certain. Obviously, it doesn't flow into all of the pastures, but it flows into that one, which is one less that you have to worry about because there's always water.
Now, how often do you guys have to mow with having the animals? Do you have to mow the pastures?
You don't have to. We like to tidy them up after each rotation. So probably each field, I would say, gets mowed twice a year.
Okay.
Maybe.
And then, so then, in addition to the grass, do they always have the hay stands, or is that only now because it's...
Right. So we usually only have them in the winter time, although we have set them out in the summer at stages, certain stages. If the grass stops growing and you need to supplemental feed the animals, then we go ahead and put one out. It's also good sometimes when the rain is, when it's super wet, to have a dry feed out for the animals. It somehow just does a body good, I guess, when they have some dry feed too.
And this is the original barn, right? The middle section?
The middle section, yes.
This is the original barn. And you can see that Amy had it designed so that she would use the old barn wood and tin on the smaller section of the chicken coop so that so that everything blended. You wouldn't be able to see the difference. And you did a really good job with that. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. Well, it's a work in progress for sure. The original barn in the center was here, and there's a dirt floor in there, so there's different things that we battle throughout the year in there, water coming in, all that kind of stuff. It really does need to be dug out, and needs to be some drainage put in, but it serves a purpose whenever we need it to, especially when we're lambing in the springtime in April. And then we decided that we really wanted a separate type of coop, but we wanted it to blend in with the original barn. So we added another section and used the old barn wood and old tin roof. And then just this past year, we decided to put on an extension, and that's really just to house the tractor, the grain buggy, and keep it out of the rain, as well as provide a place where Tom can shear the sheep in a dry condition. So when he does that, sometimes it can be raining or whatever, and it just, and blocking the sun too, because it can be a long day whenever you're sharing that many animals. So this was actually a new roof, and we decided to go with that because we wanted to be able to collect the rainwater off of that roof and feed it to the animals. So you can see there's a gutter that comes out the front. Let's
go check that out.
Sure.
Let's go check it out a little bit closer so people can see what you're doing. Because we've seen actually in the more recently, that people are actually connecting these to all different types of structures, including garages, and if you don't have a farm environment but still want to be able to collect rainwater. So let's take a look at your operation here.
Sure. So it's not 100% perfect, but it does the job, all the chickens. So we installed a fresh roof, I guess, not something that was a rusty, because you don't want really the animals to drink rusty water. So we installed a new roof and guttering system, and then there's a downspout that feeds into these wonderful tanks that we actually get from different companies. They have them, usually they have some sort of a chemical, or this one it looks like there was vinegar in it, and they're sitting empty. So we just put the downspout in there, it collects the rainwater, and then we have a hose that comes over here to a water trough where the animals can drink out of easily. So this is really just it's a multi-purpose structure that Tom really wanted to have added to the barn. Makes it easier for the springtime too. We don't have to have all the animals inside the barn when they're lambing, but they can also be protected from a lot of the weather and stuff that we might get in April.
Okay, so can you explain this to us? Why do you have this? The door that looks like there's a corral here almost? Like, what is all this used for?
So this is a head gate that's used for cattle. When you need to work cattle, and by work I mean, give injections, or sometimes they might, be sick and you've got to actually give them some sort of a medicine. You can put them through the chute and up into the head gate, and that holds them in place so they can't move on you when you're trying to do those things. And there's Mr. Pig. Hello. So this is a bale tine, so you can actually pick up big round hay bales with those tines and move them to wherever you need them. So Tom uses that to place the hay bales throughout the property in the wintertime where the animals need to be fed. We also have a brush hog that will basically mow the property whenever we move the animals from field to field. And that's about it, really.
And what does this do? You said this is a grain...
This is a grain buggy, so it holds corn. So you can pull this up to a feed store. Ours is in Plattsburgh that we use, and they will load it up with grain, corn or chicken feed or whatever you want. We supplemental feed the cows and the sheep a little bit of corn in the wintertime only. While the females are pregnant, they need extra calories and obviously extra warmth in the wintertime. The cattle do. Plus, if you feed them cattle, the cows, the corn, they'll love you forever. So they come up to you and they'll let you scratch them, and it just keeps them nice and friendly, which makes it easier for you to work them whenever you need to get them in for any reason.
That makes sense. Okay, let's go check out the chicken coop.
Okay, sounds great.
So here we are at the ginormous chicken coop. Amy, tell us about your chicken coop.
So this is just the chicken coop. We are gonna go inside and we'll see how messy and gross a chicken coop can really be. It's housed about 60 chickens at once. Right now we only have about 15 to 20. So let's check it out.
So then tell us about the inside of the chicken coop. Like, what is all this stuff? I see the boxes over here, what is
Sure. All right, so you've got to have some laying boxes for the chickens to lay in. These are little roosting bars. We've got a couple of sets here and one along the other wall there. They'll actually also roost up in the rafters, which is crazy. Some of them like to fly up there at night and roost for the night. So all chickens roost They go in, actually a lot of birds do. So pheasants, they all go up in a tree at nighttime and they'll roost for the night. This little guy here, we've actually got one broken there, but this just is a hanging feeder. So their feed will go through there. Obviously there's some lovely poop in there. And then these boxes are great for laying in. These things are really fun. You don't have to have material in there. You just slide this little plasticky thing in there and they lay right on it, which is quite nice. It protects the eggs from dropping onto a hard surface.
So the laying is different in the winter because of
the amount of light. So chickens require a certain number of hours. Come here, Joe. Silly. You're silly. Chickens require a certain number of hours of light to be able to produce an egg. And so it always slows down in the wintertime because there's not as many hours of daylight. And yeah, anyway.
Awesome. Okay, let's go check out the pig section, and then that's probably going to wrap our farm tour up. I'm going to pause. Every single one of the guests of Art of Gardening receive a 1-gallon gift from PETRATOOLS. So here's the question of the hour, Amy Gray.
Okay.
We've got 3 things for you to pick from. We've got worm tea concentrate, which we all know the benefits of the fabulous worm castings in the worm tea, concentrated by PETRATOOLS, 1 teaspoon in every gallon for indoor houseplants, outdoor plants, foliar sprays, you name it, seedlings, whatever it may be, this is the stuff they want. Your second choice is Max Mulch Glue, keeping your mulch in place up on this huge, massive hill with lots of wind. Your third choice is Max Grass Paint for dormant or dead grass to make it look alive. What's it going to be, Amy Gray?
Ooh, this is a hard choice. You drive a hard bargain.
Well,
I mean, I could definitely use the mulch glue because it's definitely windy up here. But I think I'm going to go with the worm tea.
Oh, good one. Worm tea it is. Thank you so much for being a guest, and now let's get back to our episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, PETRATOOLS.
Okay, so we are on site at Cannington Farms Pig Pen. Tell us about the pig pen.
Woo! Who would have thought that we would have pigs on the farm? And we'd be standing in a pig pen.
We're in a pig pen.
Yes, we're in a pig pen. So this is just a small little rectangle that has always been kind of, I don't know, just a little neglected spot. It has the freshwater creek running through it, perfect for pigs. They like to waller in, mud to keep cool, and they can obviously drink out of it. And then Tom just built these little pallet huts. So it's just a basic pallet with a little bit of tin roof on it. They just go in there at nighttime and fall asleep. That's all they do.
So then they don't require anything to stay warm in the winter or anything like that?
Nope.
That's
They are all...
They're pretty easy maintenance then, right?
They're pretty easy,
So what do you have to feed them?
We feed them a little bit of corn in the morning, and that's it. They get everything else they need from the ground.
It's awesome.
Yep. And then this pig pen just has a little bit of wire fencing at the bottom, just to keep them inside if we ever need to keep them in the pen for any reason. They have free range as well, so they just go around and forage.
I love it. And this breed, you said, doesn't really tear things up, so they kind of
Right.
move around on the surface.
Right. So next to our property is a lot of woods, and if you pan back that way, you'll see there are tons of woods. Perfect, actually, to run pigs in. People often don't know that you can run pigs in a forest or woods, and they will eat all the nuts and clean up all the shrubs and the nasty little things that you would find in a forest.
Can I borrow them down at my house?
Yes, you can.
I could use something to eat the nuts around our house.
Absolutely. So it's quite a rocky area back here. We called it Rattlesnake Ridge when we first moved in because Tom found a rattlesnake down here when he was chopping trees and all that good stuff. So it's just one of those kind of perfect little pieces of land for the pigs.
Yeah, and great overall too, again, because there's lots of opportunities. There's tons of rock back here to be able to do landscaping with, or used for various different things. So on your property, there's just so many different fun things to be able to take advantage of.
Yep.
Well, Amy, thank you so much for allowing us to visit with your beautiful farm. We will have a lot more coming up from Amy's place, as this is only one small facet of this fabulous woman who I am very, very blessed to call one of my dear friends. So thanks so much again, and we will see you soon on the next episode of Art of Gardening, and make sure that you stay tuned for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. All three of those outlets will give you access to all this great information that you're hearing from our wonderful guests. So thanks so much.
Thanks, Melissa.
See you next time.
All right.